Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Chimera Elite, and today I'm not going to do it in depth because, well, I'm not really feeling it, and two, I just want to show you guys how inexperienced a lion player I am. And I'm up against probably the worst, just because I am an old player, as in I've been playing this game since the open beta came out. But I've mainly been playing Wolfen. So my brain is Wolfen, but I'm playing Lion. So it's a really weird transition to make. And I get paired up against this guy, who is running probably the most overpowered Wolfen army that you can go. And this guy, well, yeah, that's really all that needs to be said. I am running Cillian, a bunch of swordsmen, and a bunch of archers. Really simple and totally opposite what I usually play. It's completely passive. It's completely defensive. It's really not something that I like to play. Especially because I'm a Wolfen player. It's just not how I am. And I think it's for two reasons. One, with Cillian, you can't really have that big of a presence on the battlefield. Because, well, for one thing, the enemy wants to get as close to you as possible, which is the exact opposite as how I'm used to playing. Because I can do pretty well with Melmoth, the Flesh Golem, Ryscar, or Caleris. Caleris not so much, just because he's, unfortunately, kind of shitty. But that's a whole other thing. The reason I'm good with those guys is because they are overwhelmingly powerful. They are units that the enemy wants to stay away from. They want to deal with them last, because the amount of damage that they can pour out and their presence is felt. Ryscar's presence is felt through the fact that he can deal a crap ton of damage, one, and two, because of the fact that he has Scourge wounded as an aura. So as the battle wears on, my units keep dealing more and more damage. Cillian, on the other hand, has almost no battlefield presence. Sure, she's a constant thorn in your side as you're trying to get up to her, but once you're up to her, especially if you're a Wolfen player, you can almost instantly just fuck her. Like, you can absolutely destroy her, pardon my language. But it's purely opposite how I like to play. I have not had the pleasure of playing as Arrhenius as of yet. Hopefully next week he's free. Hell, hopefully next week the Chimera's free. I wouldn't mind trying her out, taking her out for a spin, because the Chimera and Arrhenius both have huge amounts of presence. The Chimera is a huge thing that if you will get within her range, she's gonna fucking destroy you. And if I can get the elixir points, she can heal. She can turn a slightly dangerous unit, like a lion, like an assault lion, into something that's fucking terrifying. And just Cillian is passive. She just kind of sits there and goes pew pew, pew pew. And, I mean, sure, against some armies it's fantastic. Like, against maybe other lion armies or other undead armies, she probably do pretty damn well. But I just feel like my playstyle is the opposite of the type of playstyle that Cillian, I guess, caters towards. It's kind of a weird way to think about it, but that's just how I'm seeing it, because I get my ass handed to me by this guy, and I won 1 out of the 4 matches that I played, and I win like more than half, probably like 75% of the games that I play with my Wolfen army. Now that may have something to do with the fact that I run 2 Guardians of Equilibrium. But at the same time, I've won against 3 Guardians of Equilibrium. Essentially, this guy that I'm facing, I have won against that. Quite handily, too. Well, it was close, but still. I know the Wolfen very, very well. I know their limitations. I know what I can and cannot do with the Wolfen. With the Lion, I'm still kind of unsure, and I still have to really feel it out. Now, I'm still going to do the in-depth videos for the rest of the army. Swordsmen, archers, lions, so on. But I'm probably going to intersperse that with just me rambling. And I'm probably just going to broach a topic right now that's been bugging me a little bit. And that is the total... They're not ignoring it, but they're busy doing other things, I know. But they haven't really been... There hasn't been a patch in like a month and a half, maybe 2 months. And while I'm like, you know, considering what they were talking about before, it's like every however many months a new army or new units, but excuse me. But I feel like in the meantime, they could read the forums, because really it's just, I think it's like me, Astro Worm, Stecco, and Dragon Warrior, and maybe a few other guys who are really actually on the forums and talking about stuff. And I think we all make pretty decent points in what we're pointing out. Like, I posted a few days ago talking about how, like, the tier 1 and the tier 2 and the tier 3, all those units look the exact same. And how maybe sometime in the future the devs could make some variation. Like, the tier 1 Fang Warrior could stay the same. The tier 2 is more tanky, so give him a sword and a shield. But like the Wolfen version of the sword and the shield, like, they have art on their Facebook page of a Wolfen with a big ass sword and a small, like, buckler with a spike on the end. Like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Same with, like, the tier 3 Fang Warrior. The tier 3 Fang Warrior, he deals damage. That's his main thing. He hurts things very well also. And maybe, I don't know, maybe give him, like, one really big sword, something like that, something simple. Like, obviously it's difficult to do that like when you're working on something else, but you know, just something kind of in the back, like kind of like you do this if you get burned out working on stakes or something else. Just kind of like fiddle around with the art assets and just kind of like, huh. Okay, this like, maybe, who knows how long it'll take them, but it's always, like, it's interesting to me. And one thing I think they could also work on, other than that in the future, or even, this would actually probably be easier, but they could possibly, just possibly, tweak either the, like, go through any gameplay on YouTube, and I guess mine is really the only gameplay you're gonna see. But just go through and just watch like the first 5 minutes or the first 2 minutes of any of my videos. Like, just to check out the unit composition that either I'm using or that my opponent is using. Now, look and see, and you will notice there are only a few units that you're going to see. Constantly, at least. And maybe make a poll, like they did this a while ago. but send out a poll and figure out which units are really being, I guess, are and are not being used. Like, as a Wolfen player, I haven't touched a Fang Warrior in months. I've never touched a Wolfen Hunter. Maybe, like, I don't even know the last time I even considered doing that. And the same goes with a lot of the other higher tiered Wolfen like enchanters or anything other than the Guardian of Equilibrium. Like, I messed around with the tier 1 enchanter. Not enchanter, like priest. The guy with the, what's it called? With the Mask of Gondhar, Yila's Wrath, and Yila's Love. I messed around with that guy for a while. And then I discovered the Guardian of Equilibrium. Figures I don't really use anything else anymore. And, like, looking now, I would use, like, the Wolfen Hunter. Or the other tiers if they had something to offer. But right now, they're simply not anything that I'm really looking for. Like, I have my damage, I have my utility, and if I was able to do something like put down traps with the Wolfen Hunters, or the Wolfen Crossbowmen, or you did something to buff either of those units, I would probably fiddle with them a little bit and try to figure out, okay, they made some new changes to these units. I'm going to go in, mess around with them, try them out, play with them, and maybe I'll be able to find a good place for them in my army. And if I can, then that's fantastic. Because right now, just on the Wolfen side, I think I may have seen like one Wolfen Hunter in like the last 20 or 30 games I've played. I saw 2 Crossbowmen, and it was a new guy, I'm pretty sure, who was playing. And I have never seen, like, against Lion players, I don't think I've ever seen any, like, actual spellcasters, any wizards. And I think it's kind of sad. Like, I think one of the biggest things about the game, one of the biggest strengths of this game is army variation. But a lot of the Wolfen players I see, I guess, know about the 3 Guardian of Equilibrium combo, and that's all they run. I liked that for a while, but I'm like, this is kind of cheap. Took out a Guardian of Equilibrium, tossed in a Grave Guardian, Cerberus, my favorite, and kind of, I guess, nerfed myself in a way. And I've been having fun with it ever since. It's kind of sad that there are so many other unit variations. Like, you have 6 or 7 units to choose from, not counting the tiers 1 through 3. So you have something like 21 different unit choices to pick for your army. I barely see any of those. And maybe they should send out polls or something to gauge where, like, what they can do to improve those units. Because if you were able to make a change and just flat out, I don't know, give a unit some sort of relevancy in the meta today, that would be amazing. Because right now, there is none. Most units are never see the battlefield. Like, even earlier in the beta. Like, I messed around with the Wolfen Hunters a little bit, but then decided, hey, a Grave Guardian is probably better. Or a healer is probably better. Because they have set places, essentially. And I think that if we can find some way to make these units viable again, then the game as a whole would become a much more game to play. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Next time I will be starting on my new in-depth series of the Lion. We're starting with the Swordsman, of course. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.